What is it with this team that they can score runs when the pitching is terrible and then the pitching is good and they can't score runs? Although I would actually say the pitching wasn't that great today, but you get the point. What is up? What is going on? Everybody, welcome back. Welcome into the Seattle Mariners post-game recap. Mariners dropped this one 4-1 to the Giants today. They fall to 3-6 on the season, and that'll be 3 series now, no matter what happens tomorrow, into the season without a series win for our Seattle Mariners. Before I go any further, as always, do me a favor, hit the like button. It does help out the channel, gets the video out to more people. If you're new or lurking, don't be afraid to hit subscribe. We'll be here all season. We will talk about some wins that will happen. I swear they will win a series at some point. They will play good baseball at some point. So hit that subscribe button, comment your thoughts on the team and the game down below. Channel members, first stream is tomorrow for the game. I'll be on for like the first 5 innings or so. We'll just talk ball, do some play-by-play for the game and enjoy that. So if you want to become a channel member, join us tomorrow. We'll hang out and talk some ball. I think you can really point to, let's get back to what I said in the beginning of the video, how frustrating it is when, Emerson Hancock has the terrible start against Detroit and the Mariners have some good at-bats against Joe and get 6 runs. Yesterday, I don't want to put it all on Luis Castillo, but him and the bullpen terrible, give up 10 runs, and the offense has their best performance with 9 runs. Then the pitching dials in is better and they can't score. Now, I don't think Bryce Miller was all that sharp today. But it just never seems to fail. Can we get like the 9-run game on a game where they give up the 1 run and then they give up 10 runs when we're not scoring to make it a little bit easier? Would be nice. Would certainly be nice. Tonight, I point to one number tonight, and that was how the teams hit with runners in scoring position. Mariners 0 for 6, Giants 4 for 11. That's your game, right? That's it right there. That was even the issue yesterday a little bit. I will never blame an offense when you score 9 runs. It'd be like a football team putting up 30 points and being mad at the offense. But they were 3 for 16 yesterday. Now 3 for 22 in this series so far. They scored 9 yesterday. Could have been 10, 11, or 12 with just a couple more hits falling in. And then today, they had some okay at-bats against Robbie Ray. They put runners on. I did not think Robbie Ray was all that sharp today. But nobody getting that big hit with runners in scoring position. I was talking to my friend Mariner Sir, and hopefully we'll have him back on here very soon. And he was, brought up a good number that they're not even striking out with runners in scoring positions. It's not like last year was just a strikeouts, galore issue. Their strikeout rate, I think, he told me it's fairly low with runners in scoring position. They're just not, they're putting the ball in play, just not getting hits. That stuff I do think will even out over the course of a season, but it's frustrating that it's happening right now. It's frustrating that these games do count, right? Like, it would be easy to brush it off in spring training. Who cares? It's spring training. But these games all count as one, even though, yes, there's a lot to go and there's hot streaks that you're going to go through. After everything we went through in the offseason, it's just really frustrating to see this team come out with a start like this. It would have been nice to get a little goodwill back, a little momentum going with a better start. Just say it all the time, good start does not mean that they would have been destined for the postseason, and nor does this start mean that they're eliminated or anything like that. We're 9 games into this. But it is just really, really frustrating. I think the runners in scoring position number, just kind of a perfect microcosm for it. The Giants, I thought Miller and Ray were both kind of very similar today. Their command control wasn't great. The stuff is still good enough for both of them that they can wiggle out of some jams. The Giants, put some balls in play with runners on that found holes. The Mariners did not. And there you go. That's the difference between Ray and Miller today, and probably the difference in the win, and probably a little bit of the difference yesterday in the win as well. So, and some bad base running too from the Mariners, right? 2 guys getting picked off. I think Demo was picked off, and then Ryan Bliss was picked off as well. And that, trying to get base runners, trying to get things going, you can't have that stuff. It's super frustrating. It's some of the same sloppiness that we saw a lot last year that kind of drove us crazy. It's rearing its ugly head a little bit, at least tonight, for the Seattle Mariners. And listen, there have been some things better, right? They aren't striking out as much overall. Again, 9 games. I got to, be fair, right? Because I'll always look at negative things and go, hey, it's only 9 games. The positives have to have the same sample size, theory as well, right? Like even good things. As much as everyone's a 4 for 4 away from being good, everyone's an 0 for 4 away from being poor. So, but the strikeouts have been down. They have the top walk rate. I don't know if Aaron Goldsmith said in the AL or in baseball, but either way, solid. They're getting on base. They're just not hitting with runners in scoring position. And if they were just like, I don't know what their overall number is, probably in the 100s. If they were in the 240s, I think we'd feel okay about this offense so far, honestly. Like, there have been some better at-bats, and even today, 5 walks against Robbie Ray in 6 innings. But they're also still missing stuff, right? Remember, like, last year when I think we talked about a lot, man, they're missing a lot of center-cut pitches. Thought we had that today. Ray's velocity wasn't great. It was low 90s, and they just didn't punish anything outside of Dylan Moore with the home run. And walks are great. I will never criticize somebody for walking, but like the point of the walks is to build up the base runner so someone can put one in the gap. I mean, if you want to just keep walking all game, that's totally fine too. But they're not getting that. They're getting the base runners. They're either making bad base running decisions or no one's punishing the ball and putting it where they ain't to get the big hit. There's felt like some moments where they've gotten some base runners this season where they could open up a game early and they just haven't done it. Man, the other thing too, this team has just not played with any leads this season. I mean, really, when you think about it, opening day, they came back in the 8th inning. Game 2, they were crushed. Game 3, they did lead for a little bit early, but then gave it up and ended up just losing. The game they won against the A's, they had to come back late with a Julio home run, lose the first 2 to the Tigers, pretty much wire to wire. They did kind of have a wire-to-wire win against the Tigers and Skubal, of course, but it wasn't like a blowout win or anything. That's it. That's the only time that for a couple innings yesterday, but they gave the lead right back each time. I mean, this team has a starting pitcher outside of Castillo like thrown a pitch with a lead. I think Miller did a little bit in that 3rd game, but man, they are just not like getting a lead and allowing a pitcher to hold it, or the pitcher's giving it right back for, whatever reason. So really frustrating too. I think that's another reason that the 3-6 almost feels worse. Like they just haven't played a lot of complete baseball games yet. The Skubal game was good. They've had good offensive games and good pitching games, but just not together yet. Again, we're talking about 9 games. It's going to happen, but yeah, just frustrating. We need the team to come out and just get one of those like 11-2 wins. Like you just need something to cleanse the palate a little bit of Mariners baseball, but that's a massive palate to cleanse of baseball that we've had to sit through over the years. Let's get in the box score here. Bryce Miller, 5 1/3, 7 hits, 4 runs, 4 earned, 3 walks, 4 Ks. I didn't think Miller was very good today. 2 shaky starts from Bryce Miller. I thought he was better last Saturday against the A's. Did not think he was very sharp today. Hardly threw any first pitch strikes. What were they saying in the 4th inning? He threw like 2 batters had seen first pitch strikes. I thought he did settle in a little bit in the middle innings. The first 2 innings I thought were pretty rough. Almost more, I think he had more balls than strikes through 2 innings. Funny enough, as he settled in, I thought started pitching better in the middle innings. That's when he gave up the couple of runs. Figure baseball. But overall, just not very sharp. Not a lot of good misses. The misses looked pretty bad. The fastball didn't look like he had it really under command. The breaking stuff looked better. So, I mean, listen, Bryce Miller's a guy that's got good enough stuff that even when he's not on his game can still give you, a quality start and give your team a chance to win. But I will say, like, and this is not towards Miller, this is just the team in general. Like, this is a team that's built on pitching. Quite honestly, the pitching has not been that good this year. Now, some of that is Emerson Hancock and Luis F. Castillo and whatever the bullpen did yesterday. So it's not just like, I don't want to dive too much into that because out of the 9 games they played, 2 starts have just been atrocious. But like Bryce Miller has looked okay. Like he's given his team a chance to win both games, but he hasn't been dominant. Logan, was really good opening day and did have 10 strikeouts, but did give up the 3 runs against the Tigers. Castillo's looked really solid and will make his second start tomorrow. So I think most that's just the Hancock and Luis F. Castillo starts, or the Pebble getting in our head a little bit. But, like today's a perfect example. Like, did Miller do enough for this team to win? Sure. Like the offense could have taken more advantage with runners in scoring position, but he was not particularly sharp. And that's just something we didn't have to say a lot last year. It was very rare, when a pitcher was just not on his game. They were just dialed in. And so far this year, we've seen a few more shaky performances. Just not used to it. I'm used to doing these recaps. Starting pitcher was great. Bullpen was okay. Offense was bad. That's usually the gist of it. So, Miller will be fine. I'm not worried or anything, but just not his best. Trent Thornton, 2/3 of an inning, did give up the hit, which drove in the fourth run. Jesse Hahn pitched 2 innings, 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Hahn up today with Saucedo being optioned. I think that's the right call. Sauce has options where a lot of guys in the bullpen don't. I thought Luis F. Castillo, I'm glad they didn't get rid of him yet. I do kind of want to see one more start. I thought there was some stuff that flashed enough where I went, I wouldn't mind seeing him at least get one more crack. And if he's terrible next start, he can go. I don't really care. But I'm glad he stayed, and I'm still glad they haven't DFA'd Vargas. I think he's started to really earn that roster spot for me. Doesn't make that a great trade, but at least you're getting something out of the Geno trade so far. So, and I thought Hahn looked all right. Thought he looked fine. Kind of mop-up role. At the very least, did his job, kept the team in the game, gave the bats a chance, and soaked up a couple innings. So the bullpen should be all good, all hands on deck tomorrow for the Mariners. And Ryan Walker did pitch for the Giants, got the save. Maybe he's down tomorrow. He's pitched back-to-back days. So, listen, I'm looking for anything, right? Looking for anything here. All right, the offense, kind of a weird game. I mean, they weren't good, right? 1 run, I'm not going to praise it. They did get 5 walks off Robbie Ray, only struck out twice, had 4 hits, did hit some balls hard, but against the runners in scoring position, right? If that 0 for 6 is 3 for 6, man, we're talking about probably a different game here. Someone's got to come through. Someone has got to get the big hit. Victor Robles was 2 for 4. Good to see a couple hits, but also grounded into a double play in the 7th, top of the 7th, I think it was, maybe the top of the 6th, where they could have maybe gotten back into this thing a little bit. So it's also like, the timing. They're getting the hits without the guys on, but not getting them with them. I guess that is hitting the runners scoring position, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just like Victor Robles on base twice and 4 at-bats is solid. But his biggest at-bat was, where he failed, unfortunately. It just kind of seems like something that would happen last year a lot, where guys that have decent games, but in the biggest moment, they just, didn't come through necessarily. Julio was 0 for 4, had a rough day with 2 strikeouts. Cal had a base hit, 1 for 4. Randy 0 for 3 with the walk. Randy's had a bad series, just hasn't had good at-bats. The bases loaded walk was good yesterday, but he stung the ball in that first homestand. Certainly hasn't yet on this first road trip. Mitch Garver 0 for 2 did draw 2 walks again. That's great, but got to get on base and keep them moving. That's not Garver's fault necessarily, but good to see him on base a couple times. But now people got to drive these guys in. Donovan Solano 0 for 3. That OPS still sitting at that triple zeros there. I've been kind of surprised how much, not leeway, but like at bats they've given Rowdy Tellez. I feel like Solano should get some cracks against righties, but it's hard when he's an 0 for on the season too. Dan would probably look at us and be like, well, Tellez has hit better than Solano so far. The good news is a couple balls in play were hit harder today from Solano. So hopefully coming out of it, I wouldn't mind guys like Garver, Solano getting a little bit more back-to-back days playing, just maybe get them in a groove a little bit. They've got to face the lefties, which is what they're there for. It's their job. But, their last game was against Tarek Skubal and even Robbie Ray. While I don't think he was great today, we know he's got good stuff. So it makes it tough, I think, especially early in the year for these guys to get in a groove. But speaking of someone that is in a groove, that's Dylan Moore, who is 2 for 4, base hit and a solo home run. Dylan Moore off to a fantastic start. They're going to need his bat in the lineup. He's hot right now, right? Even if it's against righties, I would continue to run him out there and see what he can do. The pop's been there so far. Dylan Moore's another guy. We know he's streaky. Probably know where his numbers are going to kind of be at the end of the year, right? But when he gets hot, he is a legitimately really good hitter. And you want to keep that going for as long as it lasts. So nice game from Dylan Moore today. Played well. Ryan Bliss 1 for 2 with a base hit and a walk. Unfortunately, had that tough base running mistake, and that was a shame too because I think JP and Robles both singled after that. So you would have had bases loaded there in a 2-1 game at the time. Instead, it was 2 outs now. And I think JP walked, but then he had first and second with 2 outs as opposed to bases loaded with 1 out. Now, if Bliss is safe, no one's complaining, but that was twice tonight where they were picked off. So the Mariners have been a lot more aggressive so far this season, it feels like, and it can pay off, right? I'm all for running and getting the game going. No problem with it. They have guys that can steal bases, but and you're going to get caught stealing at some point. I can't just rip every single one. It is going to happen. But it definitely felt like it. I don't want to say it cost him the game, but definitely stuff that could have led to more runs potentially for the Mariners. Luke Raley pinch hit was 0 for 1. Master Boney pinch hit at one point was 0 for 1. And then JP, nice game, 1 for 2, base hit and 2 walks. So JP aboard 3 times. Again, like getting some guys on, just not getting them around. Someone's got to deliver the big hit with runners in scoring position. I'm also not sure where Polanco was today. Let me look that up and see if someone reported on that or not, because Polanco, obviously, him and his wife had the baby, so he missed the last 2 games in Detroit. Played yesterday. I don't know if there's a reason he wasn't in there today. I'm not seeing anything here on Twitter. Let me just look up Jorge Polanco. See if we get anything here on maybe why he didn't play. I'm not seeing anything, so I don't know. I don't know why Polanco wasn't in there. I don't mind Dylan Moore getting at bats against lefties. He should, or even Ryan Bliss. But, and I know Polanco, would be right. I think right hand's actually his better side, though. I don't know. I don't know what the career numbers are. I think it's a better batting average right-handed at least. And Polanco's been on fire. So I'm going to assume, with the injury and everything that he had, that they're being careful. But, man, at least DH him. Cal could have probably used a day off. He's played every game. So I never get on those too much because you could find out he was sick or, pulled a hammy. So that's one thing I don't really get on managers for, because we don't know all the underlying details what guy might sit. But, man, you need Polanco's bat in the lineup because he's hitting right now. So you want him out there as much as possible. So it's been disappointed they've had to miss him for 3 games. Figures they get Polanco going. And last year he actually, despite not being healthy, stayed pretty healthy. I think he did miss like a week or 2 in there. Now I'm remembering correctly. But now this year he's healthy and hitting the ball well, but he's had to miss times, in some games. So it's just frustrating. Obviously, the birth of his child is something you should absolutely be missing a game for, but you guys know what I mean. Listen, it's frustrating. I don't, know what else to really say. Like, I would still say if your preseason thoughts was this team's going to be really good, I still don't think we're at a point where anything should change yet. I will let you know when I'm like, and it's not so much of like, oh yeah, now this is the moment. Like, 4-11 becomes 4-12. Now I'm panicked. There's no like exact moment for it. It's just, it is 9 games. It is like, I think everyone's concern is just, we don't believe in this team all that much. And that is completely fair. I'm not on anybody that doesn't believe in them. In fact, I completely understand. I have very mixed belief. I think they can be good, but not holding my breath for it. I just been burnt too many times. But if they miss, it's just because they weren't good enough. It's not because the 3-6 start. Does that kind of make sense a little bit? I hope it does. So we'll see. But just ready for a win. I enjoy. It's actually fun. I think losses actually give me more to talk about. But wins are more fun. I want to celebrate with you guys and talk about a fun team and a playoff team and stuff like that. And, it's not as fun to come on, especially at least yesterday was like different. Something different to talk about. Today is just like seeing this game 1,000 times. So have a great night, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow for the post-game recap and the member stream. So hopefully we'll be talking about a win. If not, that's a rough first 10 games. So we'll see what happens. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your Saturday night. And as always, go Mariners. Peace.